It's all good to see you. Is everyone ready for this incredible event? This is my favorite day of the year. It's going to be great. It's great to be here again. My name is Lauren Beckham Falcone, and I will be emceeing this event along with my friend here, Andre Williams. This is my 9th year moderating the legislative reception, and I am thrilled to be co-emceeing for the first time with Andre, who is a self-advocacy liaison with the Massachusetts Developmental Disabilities Council.
Thank you, Lauren. Good morning, everybody. How's everyone doing this fine morning? That's really good. So my name is Andre Williams. I am a 32-year-old self-advocate, originally from Somerville, Massachusetts. And this is my first time ever co-emceeing the legislative reception, and I am honored to be here today.
Welcome to our 47th annual legislative reception hosted by the Massachusetts Developmental Disabilities Council and the ARC of Massachusetts. Current legislators and state agency heads should check in at the legislator table to my left. This is my left. Sometimes I have trouble. I just do this. So we can acknowledge your presence. And we're thrilled to have our 2025 Legislator of the Year awardees, State Senator Robin Kennedy and State Representative Sean Garbulli. They're here with us this morning, and we're thrilled. Other legislators and officials who are here to support our community include... We're going to do this. You want to do it first? I'll do Representative Amy Ma Sangiglio, Representative Vanna Howard, Senator James Eldridge, Representative Tara Hong.
Representative, how do you put it? Tacky Chan, Representative Sean Garbulli, Representative Christine Barber, my representative, shout out to her, Representative Thomas Moakley, Senator Robin Kennedy, we have more, Representative Michelle Badger, Representative Paul J. Donato, Representative Kathleen Lenatra, and there's more, Nancy Alterio, Disabled Persons Protection Commission, there's Cindy Howard, Center for Hope Foundation, Laura Sanford, Committee Public Counsel Services, and there's more. Sarah Peterson, Department of Developmental Services, and Christopher Klaskin, Department of Developmental Services.
We have a huge crowd today and want to make sure that everyone can hear, so please remain silent during our program.
Yes, thank you. So to begin our program, Raquel Quezada is here to give the opening remarks. Raquel is the chairperson of the MDDC. She also serves on the boards of several nonprofit organizations. Raquel is the founder of the Changing the World of People with Disabilities Foundation and a presenter and producer of its radio and TV program. She is also a published author and a former Lend, Crocker, and Newman Fellow. Raquel is married and has 4 beautiful children, including a young man with cerebral palsy. She understands the difficulties that many parents encounter while seeking resources for their children with disabilities. That experience has inspired her to educate and fight for families facing similar issues, particularly those in immigrant communities. Originally from the Dominican Republic, Raquel resides in Haverhill. Welcome, Raquel.
Thank you. Amazing work. I'm so proud of you. All right, good morning. Okay, let me see who had breakfast this morning. Good morning. Yes, I'm so blessed and happy to be here today celebrating this wonderful, wonderful morning. Good morning. My name is Raquel Quezada. I'm a proud Latina woman with brown skin and medium length back hair. Today, I'm wearing my tan dress with old navy blue jacket feeling honored to stand up before you. And of course, my glasses because I'm getting old. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and fellow advocates. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to Senator President Karen Spilka, House Speaker Ronald Mariano, Executive Office of Whole Human Service, and Undersecretary Mary McGlone, legislator and state agency official for joining us on this critical day of advocacy. Thank you and congratulations to our all 2025 Legislator of the Year, Senator Robin Kennedy and Representative Sean Garvelli. Big applause for him. Your unwavering commitment to the disability community is truly appreciated. Today, we honor your leadership, and you now join the rank of Priority Disability Legislative Champion, many of whom are here today. Please, let's give it a lot of, and another big applause to them. As Andrea mentioned, I'm a proud advocate mother of 4 children. My son, Joan Quesada, has cerebral palsy and medical complex. 2 also of my children have ADHD. Of course, I'm the one have ADHD too. Our community have come together today also to celebrate Developmental Disability Awareness Month. But this year, there is a dark cloud, uncertainty that loom overhead given proposed changes that are being considered in Washington, D.C. and in the courts today. Those possible changes could impact Medicaid, Section 4, 504, and USA Department of Education. Those possible changes could roll to the back a hard fight for the right people with disability who has been joined decades. So this year, team safeguarding our right through advocacy is more meaningful than ever. Advocacy is not just responsibility, it is necessary. The right of individuals with disability, like all humans, must be firstly protected and continually defended. Whether it's asset, come on. Whether it's an asset to quality health care, inclusive education, or economic opportunity, we must ensure that no one is left behind. Our community continues to face significant challenges, particularly due to the system barrier to has been made worse by the ongoing workforce strikes. The potential closures of special education program and possible cut to Medicaid service will be impact the well-being of countless individuals. This is hard for me because my language native is Spanish. So be with me, please. This is why we must stand together, raise our voice, and advocate for policy that foster inclusive and equal society with people with disability. Advocacy must be strong, persistent, and unwavering. Policymakers, leaders, and community must work together to ensure that individuals with disability are not only included, but actively engaged in shaping the policies that impact their life. As the mother of a child with disability, I witnessed firsthand the struggle of individual families indoors every day. Challenge is accessing to education, employment, and housing, and healthcare. But also, I witness the power of advocacy is driving changes like we're doing today. It is our collective responsibility to educate lawmakers. It's all about our needs service, how we can dismantle barriers and create opportunity that allow individuals with disability to thrive. Furthermore, as a Latina, I recognize those challenges, as you can see today, are even great for individuals from diversity background. Language barriers, lack of culturally competent resource, and economy disparity created additional hurdles. Our advocacy must be inclusive of all community. Ensure that equal is all heart of the fight. Let us work together to safeguard our right through advocacy. Let us be the voice to educate policymakers and bring about change that is needed. Let us all inform lawmakers about policy that prioritize accessibility, inclusion, and equality. Let us ensure that every day an individual, regardless their ability, background, or socio-economic status, have the opportunity to live with dignity and live an independent life in our community. Together, we can make lasting impact. Together, we can safeguard our rights. I'm closing, and I extend my deeply gratitude to each of you of your commitment and dedication to people with the development and other disability. To our disability legislation champion, thank you for being here today. Thank you for your unwavering support and leadership. We cannot do this alone. Our work is just beginning, and through our continual advocacy and collaboration, we can and we will future that is more inclusive, just and equal, and is for all. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Persistent and unwavering. Thank you, Raquel. Before we begin the awards presentation, we want to recognize more legislators and officials who are present. I'll start?
Yeah.
All right, I'll start. Okay. Rachel Caprillion from Triangle Inc., Jason Folger from Lend and Boston Children's Hospital, Megan Chapman at FCSN, Joshua Komarov from the Mass Down Syndrome Congress, Anna Cook from Work Inc., Laura Sanford for the Committee for Public Counsel Services, Lisa Hewitt, CPCS, Rebecca Davis, FCSN, Department of Transitional Services.
Representative Adrian Ramos, Representative Rodney Elliott, Secretary Jones of Labor and Workforce Development, and Katie Driscoll of CCI.
We are here this morning to honor our legislator awardees. We'll begin by recognizing Senator Robin Kennedy. Senator Kennedy is a lifelong Worcester resident and serves as the state senator for the 1st Worcester District. She is a dedicated champion of the care economy. We're focusing on strengthening services from child care to elder care, investing in the workforce, improving regional public transportation, and addressing racial and health inequalities. In her inaugural year, Senator Kennedy was instrumental in advancing key legislative initiatives to enhance the well-being of Massachusetts residents with disabilities. She is the Senate Chair of the Joint Committee on Children, Families, and Persons with Disabilities, and she serves on several other key committees that oversee legislation impacting our community. Senator Kennedy has championed several significant bills to support people with disabilities, including the Act to create affordable homes for people with disabilities, an Act to promote an enhanced care worker minimum wage, an Act regarding families and children in need of assistance, and an Act relative to consumer health data. Immediately before joining the Senate, Senator Kennedy served as the Chief Operating Officer at the YWCA Central Massachusetts. We're excited to have Senate President Karen Spilka here to present the award. Senator Spilka has served as Senate President since 2018. Senate President Spilka has been a steadfast leader on disability issues since joining the legislature more than 20 years ago. She received our Legislator of the Year award twice, in 2007 and 2013. She is a true champion for the disability community. Thank you for being here today to help present this award. Good, how are you? It's good.
Thank you. Good to see you too. Hi, how are you? Hi. Good morning. Oh, come on, you guys can do better. Good morning. Much better, much better. I have to say, it is really impressive and humbling looking out at all of you here today. Thank you. Thank you for coming here today, for coming to the State House, which is your house. Thank you for coming to advocate for all people with varying abilities and making sure our Commonwealth is the most inclusive and fair place it can possibly be. Thank you, Lauren and Andre, for emceeing this. Great job. Thank you so much. It's great to see you, and Maura and Raquel, Mary, Peter for sharing his story. And I do want to offer congratulations to Representative Sean Garbely for getting this award. As Lauren mentioned, and I am very honored, I have been bestowed this twice, and it's something that I am very proud of. I could not be prouder to be here to help present this award to such a deserving colleague as Senator Robin Kennedy. Before I talk about the senator and how great she is, I do want to say a few things about the ARC of Massachusetts and the Developmental Disabilities Council. You, both organizations and all of you here, are leading the way in this state to make us closer to an inclusive and supportive Commonwealth that all of our residents with varying abilities need and we deserve. I want to let you know that I am on the front lines. The Senate, whole Senate is on the front lines, and you are all right there with us. Thank you for that. Many of you may know this is personal to me. I was the legal guardian and caretaker of my sister, Susie, who had Down syndrome, who unfortunately passed away about 7 years ago. She has made such an impression upon me in my life and continues to ground me on days when it's particularly tough, and the legislators, either the reps or the senators, know how tough this can be. There are days when I wonder, why am I doing this? And I think of my sister Susie, and the answer is right there. For people like Susie and others across the Commonwealth who need and deserve an inclusive, warm, welcoming Commonwealth, that they can be as productive and self-sufficient as they can possibly be. We all benefit from that. So I want to thank you for helping to advocate to make Massachusetts one of the best states in the nation in helping people with varying abilities. Thank you. Also on the front line is Senator Robin Kennedy, the Senate Chair of the Committee on Children, Families, and Persons with Disabilities. That was the committee I first chaired many years ago. It had just been created, and I was the first chair. So it's a very important committee to me, and I have to say, I know it's in terrific hands with Senator Robin Kennedy as the Senate Chair. I'm very proud of her and proud of the committee. There is no one I'd rather take up the mantle than Senator Kennedy. I am, give me a minute. I am so proud to be here, to be able to acknowledge Senator Kennedy. I think if you've dealt with her, you directly know how deeply passionate she is about these issues, how deeply committed she is, and wholeheartedly, from the bottom of her heart, dedicated to making progress for all of the disability community. She is, and this is putting it mildly, a fierce advocate for what she believes in. She is unwavering in her mission to make this state, to make this Commonwealth a better place. Most importantly, she is thoughtful, principled, and a compassionate colleague who is very invaluable to the Senate's work, not only on this committee, but on all areas, all of the Senate's work. Her North Star is simply doing the right thing. And there is no one that can take her off course. She has brought her leadership to the fights for fair pay for care workers, increasing assistance for children and families, and protecting our health data. Senator Kennedy, I am grateful that you are in the Senate and could not be prouder to be able to present to you today today's award. Congratulations.
Okay, I think you probably want to get this right here. Hold that up and I'll say my speech. On behalf of the MDDC and the ARC of Massachusetts, we're delighted to present you with this artwork called Hummingbird Hovering by Ashley Wolf. Ashley, if you're out there. Who is an artist at the Gateway Arts in Brookline. Ashley is here in the audience. Ashley, hi. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good job. Good job.
You want to pose for a picture, all three of you?
Oh, appreciate that. Here, you should be in the middle.
There you go. Here. There you go. Perfect. Hold on, one more picture. No. Senator Kennedy, congratulations on being Massachusetts Legislature of the Year awardee. And I think this is where you speak.
Thank you so much. Thank you. My goodness, I am truly, truly humbled and slightly overwhelmed this morning. Certainly, as was mentioned previously, I come to this work from the human service field as a provider like so many of you, and moments like this still are pretty overwhelming and incredibly humbling. Madam President, I am so incredibly grateful for your partnership, for your mentorship, for your leadership in the Senate. And as you shared briefly today, but I know we've spoken about so many times, and she supported me in the efforts that we're trying to do through the committee so many times to make sure that we truly are pushing these issues forward. And let's be clear, it's not easy work. There's a lot that goes before the Committee on Children, Families, and Persons with Disabilities, a whole lot of stakeholders with a lot of ideas on how things need to be done. And so I'm incredibly grateful for your truly kind words and your support along the way, and for bestowing the trust on me to carry forward this committee for a second term. I'm incredibly grateful for the honor to be able to return as the Senate Chair. And Mr. Speaker, thank you for sending Chair Livingstone back to work with me, because we're a great partnership and we're looking forward to getting a lot done this year. I do want to also acknowledge and say thank you to some of my colleagues in the administration that are here, that I work side by side with day in and day out to address these issues. I see Undersecretary of Health and Human Services, Mary McGowan, Commissioner of DDS, Sarah Peterson. I see my friend and colleague, the Secretary of Labor and Workforce Development, Lauren Jones, here. There's so much that we need to do that spans across our administration, across government, across the Commonwealth. And I would be remiss if I didn't also acknowledge Carla Richardson, the State House ADA coordinator, who I know loves when we acknowledge him. But he is truly the power behind making sure that everything we do here in our building, in your building, is truly accessible. And I'm really grateful for all he's done to help myself and Chair Livingstone make sure that our committee hearings are 100% accessible for every member of our Commonwealth, from the Berkshires to across the state, making sure that everyone has the ability to share their thoughts and to be heard. And so I'm incredibly grateful for that. And certainly to the ARC of Massachusetts and the Massachusetts Developmental Disabilities Council, thank you for this incredible honor and for your partnership over the past few years and in the partnership going forward. I often say with these recognitions, to me, it's not about the work that's been done, it's about the promise and commitment about the work we're going to do forward. So know that every time I look at this beautiful painting, I'll be reminded and inspired to continue to do the work. Supporting our communities of all abilities goes beyond the legislation that we have before us. It's about creating an environment where every individual is valued, is seen, is included, and is empowered to thrive. Quality of life should never be determined by barriers to access or opportunity. It is our collective responsibility to break down those barriers, whether they're physical, systemic, or attitudinal. When we invest in inclusive education, accessible transportation, affordable housing, and meaningful employment opportunities, we strengthen our entire Commonwealth. By lifting everyone, we make our Commonwealth the most competitive in the country. People with disabilities are leaders, our innovators, our artists, our vital contributors, and your voices deserve to be at the center of the policy making, making a seat at every table possible. And let's be clear, everyone in this room knows it, and I certainly know it. If those most impacted are not driving the solutions, we will not get it right. We will not get it right. This award inspires me to keep pushing forward with the support of our providers, advocates, organizations that ensure that disabilities are at the forefront of every conversation. During these times of great uncertainty, there is great pride in knowing that so many of us will stand next to our most vulnerable communities in solidarity to push the fight for a more equitable and just society. There is still much work to do, but together, I believe that we truly can build a Massachusetts where equity is not just a goal or a buzzword, but is our reality. And also, we're not just going to safeguard our right to advocacy. I am counting on each of you to be champions alongside us, to be advocates alongside us, to guide us, to lead us, and to help make Massachusetts a better place. Again, thank you to MDCC, the ARC, and everyone here today for your unwavering commitment to inclusion, to dignity, and to justice. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Kennedy and Senate President Spilka. We are so grateful to both of you for all the work you do on behalf of our community. We have more legislators to acknowledge before we move on. Andre?
So we have Representative Sally Cairns. We have Barbara Italian from the Disability Law Center, Harry Weissman, Executive Director of the Disability Policy Center, Josh Cutler from the Executive Office of Labor and Workforce Development. Before we move on, does anyone have a black iPhone missing? It's on the ARC table by the grand stairway. If anyone has a black iPhone missing, all right. And then next we have Senator Ryan Fatman and Representative J.D. Livingston. All right. So now it is time to present the Legislator of the Year award to a good friend of mine, Representative Sean Garberly. Thanks to him and his support to the MDDC, the ARC, and Best Buddies, I am standing here today, so thank you. I am personally excited that he is receiving the recognition that he richly deserves. Representative Garberly has been dedicated to supporting individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities since he was first elected to represent the 23rd Middlesex District in 2008. He was the lead sponsor of the Higher Education Access legislation, also known as the Massachusetts Inclusive Concurrent Enrollment Initiative, which passed into law in 2022. Now, this groundbreaking law allows people with autism and intellectual and developmental disabilities to attend college and have inclusive higher education experiences, making the Commonwealth of Massachusetts the first in the nation to do so. Representative Garberly has been successful in passing legislation for health insurance coverage for children and individuals with multiple sclerosis, extending ABA coverage for people with Down syndrome, and forming a disability-led commission to study the history of our state institutions. He is a lead sponsor on multiple bills that are legislative priorities to both for the MDDC and the ARC of Massachusetts. Rep. Garberly has been instrumental in budget advocacy and is a tireless voice for individuals who are turning 22 and transitioning into adult services. Representative Garberly received this award in 2015 and now joins a small number of legislators who have received this honor twice. So, we are pleased to have House Speaker Ron Mariano here to help present the award. After many years in leadership roles in the House of Representatives, Representative Mariano was elected by his peers as Speaker of the House in 2021. In 2016, Representative Mariano received our Legislator of the Year award in recognition of his dedication to and support of the disability community. House Speaker Mariano and Representative Garberly, please come up to the podium.
He stepped on all my lines. He stepped on all my lines.
Here you go.
Hello. He's lucky he's as big as he is, because he stepped on all my lines. He talked about all the things I was going to talk about, and unfortunately, there isn't a thing I can do about it. he did a far better job introducing Sean than I could ever do. He is well aware of Sean's background and his commitment to all the issues that you folks face. You know, it's great to see this crowd here today. It's always a great turnout, but it seems to be especially crowded today, and it has to be because of the folks that are getting the award. I know Sean from the day he walked into the House of Representatives. This has been his issue. It's his issue in all phases. What he can do for kids, what he can do for adults. Every month is Disability Month with Sean Gabberly. He is committed. He's committed to righting all the little wrongs that create the second-class citizenships that you have to endure. He has worked and identified them. He brings them up at every opportunity. It's his commitment and his force of will that gets us here, that gets me involved in issues that I didn't understand. I had to ask him to explain that whole concurrent name of the bill that he filed. I didn't know exactly what it did. But I do know whatever it does, it helps everyone in this. It helps everyone in here today. It's a little disconcerting now. I'm hearing voices. But again, you know, Sean has. This is his second time winning this award. I feel humbled to be even here introducing him. He should introduce me because I've never won anything twice. So I'm lucky I won the speakership once.
More than once.
Yeah, well, but I am so happy to be here, and I'm especially thankful to the ARC and the new director for honoring Sean, because I think you can never honor his commitment enough, because it is a day-to-day, year-to-year commitment that transcends the legislative year, transcends his legislative business. It's how he lives his life. And that's probably the most important thing I can say about him. It is how he lives his life. He's concerned about people. He's concerned about the issues you face, wants to be helpful, and gets to work. And he has a partner now. Man, it was just an accident that we kept Jay. But I appreciate the comment. But it is funny how that works. Sometimes the partnerships are just hit it right off. And we are very fortunate. And one of the other things is that Jay Livingston, who is the new chairman, and Sean are close. And I'm sure Sean will have his ear on the few remaining causes that Sean has and is concerned about. But again, I am thrilled to be here for Sean. I think it's very special that he's been recognized twice. And I guess I'm going to turn it over to him because Andre took all my kudos that I was going to give him for all the bills. I don't have anything.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So,
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning. First of all, Andre, thank you so much for that kind, warm introduction. Thank you for your incredible advocacy. We met each other starting at Best Buddies. I can't think of anybody I would rather have introduced me than you. And I know Representative Barber is your favorite rep. But my second favorite person to ever introduce me, Speaker Ron Mariano. I can't think of a speaker who has been a champion for this community. You know, he's very humble, and so I don't know what the higher ed bill was. He knew what it was. He helped get it passed. It would not have happened without him. Last session, in the House of Representatives, Speaker Mariano was the one to lead the effort to make sure the House passed the ABA insurance coverage bill for young people with Down syndrome. Critically important. We've been waiting 15 years to get it passed, and he did it. Speaker Mariano brought the ban of the R word to the House of Representatives. And we passed it. And you know, when I went to Majority Leader Mariano at the time about the higher ed bill, I talked to him about it. And you know, he doesn't talk about his background as an educator, but he had many students with autism and Down syndrome, and he told me, Sean, it was the right thing to do, that this bill is the right thing to do. But we need to make sure the language is right, to make sure that students with autism and Down syndrome can succeed in every classroom in one of our 29 public higher ed campuses. And Sean, I'm going to help you do it. And he kept his word, and it took over a decade to get it done, but Massachusetts became the first state in the country in law to have the Macy program codified. So thank you, Mr. Speaker, for your leadership. I am so humbled and grateful. Congratulations to the ARC of Massachusetts and the MDDC on your organizing ability, on your effectiveness when it comes to policy. I couldn't have a better group of friends to do this work with. And I'm so grateful to both outstanding organizations. Maura, I know you just came in from Chicago. You were out at a healthcare conference. And so thank you. You know, she's new to the helm, filling the big shoes of Leo Sarkisian. Isn't Mara doing a great job? Give her a round of applause. And a warm congratulations to my friend Senator Kennedy on your well-deserved award. You have been a champion for this community. So thank you for your incredible work. Along with my friend Chair Jay Livingstone and the Committee on Children and Families, we can't wait to see what you get accomplished this session. I want to thank my staff that are here, my colleagues, staff across this building, advocates and self-advocates who are here today. Nothing gets done in this building without the staff, and that's the truth. And if you've met with your staff, you know that. And so to all the staff who are here today, thank you so very much. It's also great to see former recipients. Our great Speaker of the House is a former recipient of this award. I know we saw Christine Barber, John Lawn, Barbara L'Italian. My friend Jim Brett, a former recipient of this award, is here as well. There are many in the room. Thank you so much. You know, this is my favorite event of the year. It really is. It's a great event, crowded beyond measure. But we gather here at the State House, your State House, as community partners. Partners, legislators, legislative staff, advocates, self-advocates, we all come together. At a time when this federal administration is working on a policy of zero empathy, and they're literally working hard to implement harmful and malicious cuts to Medicaid, we must be engaged on every level. You know, we come here to celebrate our wins, right? We've accomplished a lot together, every single person in this room, but we unite together for the challenges ahead. And what does that mean? Massachusetts must always put inclusion and opportunity first. And that means several different things. That means education. That means higher education. That means employment. We care about the interaction between those with autism and police. We care about the interaction between those with disabilities and the hospital they choose to get their care. We care about the caregiver who has to change their loved one on a concrete floor because there's no changing table. And we care about the employee who wants to continue this critical work but can't because they just can't simply afford it. Well, this is a room full of partners, and we will continue working together this term. I am humbled by this recognition. I am humbled by your friendship. I am humbled by this outstanding Speaker of the House. Have a great day.
Hold on, hold on, hold on. So, on behalf of the ARC and the MDDC, I am happy to present you with this Batafish painting by Deborah Belsky, who is an artist with the Gateway Arts. Deborah, I believe, is in the audience. Deborah, can you please come to the stage? Let me get, are you ready, Raquel? So, Rep. Garbely, thank you so much for fighting so hard on so many pressing issues. In recognition of everything you have done to support people with autism and IDD, we honor you as our Massachusetts Legislator of the Year. Congratulations, Rep. Garbely.
Congratulations, Representative, and thank you, Mr. Speaker, for joining us here today. We are so glad to have the opportunity to honor our Legislators of the Year, and we thank them for their leadership and hard work. It brings us hope knowing that you're in our corner fighting for the supports and services that are so critical for people with developmental disabilities. Now we want to recognize more legislative champions who are here today. For 47 years, we have celebrated Legislators of the Year in the State House, in the House of Representatives and Senate. Some of our past honorees are here today. Please notice they are wearing their Legislative Champion lapel pins, and they were presented with a special challenge coin earlier this morning. At this time, we ask that you stand up and wave so that we can acknowledge you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I just want to say thank you all to all of our legislative champions for the work that you have done over the last years and decades to safeguard our rights and improve the quality of life for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities here in the state of Massachusetts. We applaud you and we all appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Just another quick shout out to Representative Jessica Giannino and Representative Kristen Kastner. Before we continue with the program, Andrea and I want to share some information about ourselves and why we are so passionate about being involved with this amazing community. I am LBF of the Bob and LBF in the Morning WROR radio show. Before waking up at 3:30 in the morning for the past 14 years, I was a reporter for the Boston Herald. I was also a regular contributor to Boston 25, doing the cable news, WGBH. I was on TV a lot. It scared me. I'm proud to be, but I am very, very proud to be an honorary board member at the Massachusetts Down Syndrome Congress. I'm also a graduate of the Massachusetts Families Leadership Series and a longtime friend to the ARC of Massachusetts, the MDDC. I live in Canton with my husband, Dave, who's over there, that handsome fella, and my daughter, Lucy. Lucy has Down syndrome. She's also smart, funny, the greatest dancer, and loves sporting the latest styles, though I sometimes question the matching. It's okay, though. She gets it from her aunt. She loves to watch movies. She watched Tootsie last night, so that's a really good rewatchable. Highly recommend. 5 stars, no notes. She is a good and thoughtful friend to everyone she meets. She remembers their names and birthdays, and if she doesn't, she'll just ask you. She's a graduate of Canton High School and is now enrolled at the capstone program at the Cotting School, which I love, in Lexington. And she turns 22 in June. Lucy Rose Falcone awes me with her humor, her determination. She has opened a whole new world filled with perseverance, gratitude, and so much joy, and a world that includes all of you. And that's what I'm so grateful for. Andre, here's your turn.
Thank you, Lauren. So for those who don't know me, here are some fun facts about me. I have worked with the Massachusetts Developmental Disabilities Council for 12 years. Thank you. In fact, this event was the first time that I started at the council. I love working with the MDDC Self-Advocacy and Training Team on trainings that help people with self-esteem, employment, and legislative advocacy. Being a part of the council for all these years has been an amazing experience. I have also been involved with Best Buddies for almost 20 years. I'm dating myself, can't help it. And I recently won an award for the Spirit of Inclusion at their Evening of Opportunity Gala back in November. So for those who don't know what Best Buddies is, it is a nonprofit organization that helps people with disabilities find true friendships with people without disabilities, helps them find jobs, and also be self-advocates in the community. Now, being involved in these awesome organizations has helped me to become a better self-advocate and share my story with people like all of you here today. So thank you.
Thank you. As many of you know, the Massachusetts Developmental Disabilities Council, also known as the MDDC, or the Council, is an independent state agency dedicated to empowering people with developmental disabilities and their families to enjoy full, productive lives by promoting self-determination, community inclusion, and opportunity. The ARC of Massachusetts is a disability advocacy organization dedicated to enhancing the lives of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, including autism, and their families. Each year we gather in March to observe Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. This year's legislative reception theme is Safeguarding Our Rights Through Advocacy. As we all know that many of you may be feeling really uneasy right now. I know I am. There's so much going on in our state, in our country, and in our world. The MDDC and the ARC chose this theme for exactly that reason. Advocacy can help ease our anxiety, and it is critical to protect the services that so many of us here rely on. Today is a day of empowerment where we can all work together. Our legislative reception gives us a chance to educate lawmakers and each other about the needs with people with DD and their families so they can enjoy a brighter future. It's also an occasion for all of us to celebrate our amazing community.
Yes, that's right. So one right that I cherish is my right to live in my community and see my friends. Now, earlier today, some of you shared the rights that are important to you. These essential rights are on the sign to my right. There are so many rights that people with disabilities have fought long and hard for. We are all here today to amplify the importance of safeguarding our fundamental rights through advocacy. Now, we extend a warm welcome to everyone here in our audience, including those who could not be here in person and are watching our event on YouTube. We would also like to express our appreciation to over 50 organizations that are co-sponsoring this legislative reception this year. They are listed on the sign here at the front of the room. Information about many of these organizations can be found on the co-sponsor resource table outside the Great Hall. Now, we encourage everyone to check out these valued partners. Now, if you are also on social media, please share your photos and your experience here today. And if you haven't had the chance to take a selfie with your friends, colleagues, and our legislators, be sure to do so after the program ends. Now, we would like to take a moment to thank everyone who made this event possible. The staff at the MDDC, the ARC, and the offices of our legislative champions, and the State House events team. Give them a round of applause, because all that hard work, come on, they deserve that. We also want to give a shout out to State House ADA Coordinator Carl Richardson, who works hard every day to ensure that people with all types of disabilities can participate in democracy at the State House. And we also want to thank Community Work Services for providing the food and drinks, and our CART transcriber and ASL interpreters for our accessible communications. Thank you guys so much. And we also want to thank the House Broadcasting and Legislative Information Services teams for their assistances in securing a live stream of today's event. Hello to all who are watching at home.
At this time, it is my great pleasure to introduce Mary McCune, who is the Commonwealth's Undersecretary for Human Services. Prior to joining EOHHS in 2023, Undersecretary McCune provided executive leadership to the Massachusetts Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children for 9 years. Before joining MSPCC, Mary held various leadership roles in Massachusetts state government, including Chief of Staff for the EOHHS and Deputy Commissioner for the Department of Youth Services. We are so grateful you are here today to share Governor Healey's proclamation announcing March as Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. I'm going to, this way. Thank you.
I'm going to tuck it here. There we go. Good morning. My name is Mary McKeown. I'm the Undersecretary of Human Services at HHS, and it is my pleasure to be here today. Thank you for including me. And I also want to extend my congratulations to our legislative champions and for all the work that you do every single day. On behalf of Governor Healey and Secretary Kate Walsh, I also want to thank all of you for all that you do and for the voice that you give to the importance of ensuring that individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities have the opportunity to work, to live, and to learn in communities across the Commonwealth. Since assuming this position, I've appreciated the willingness of so many people in this room to partner with HHS and to support this work. And our ongoing efforts will be even more important in the weeks and the months to come. So I have one job to do today, and it is to read the proclamation, so let me get right to it. Whereas over 200,000 children and adults in Massachusetts have intellectual and developmental disabilities, they reflect the rich racial and cultural diversity in our Commonwealth. And whereas all people with intellectual and developmental disabilities can live and work in the community. To do this, they need the right supports and services. They are entitled to these supports. With the right supports, they can live and work in competitive integrated employment. With the right supports, they can live on their own in the community. With the right supports, they can learn alongside their peers. Individualized supports results in full inclusion. And whereas people with intellectual and developmental disabilities should be able to choose what they want for their lives. This is self-determination. Self-determination improves people's lives. When you choose for themselves, it creates more opportunities. When people choose for themselves, they can thrive in real jobs for real pay. When people choose for themselves, they get a better education. When people learn about decision-making and choice, they are more independent. When people choose for themselves, they can be healthier. And whereas many community members provide support and care to people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, support can come from family members and friends. Support can come from professionals and other community members. These supports are essential. Whereas we recognize and value the important work that direct care workers do each day so that people with intellectual and developmental disabilities can live fulfilling lives. Whereas in Massachusetts, we recognize the importance of safeguarding the human and civil rights of everyone in the disability community. We invest in services and supports that allow people with intellectual and developmental disabilities to live full lives. We imagine a future where all people with intellectual and developmental disabilities work, live, and learn in the community. Whereas in March, we celebrate Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month, we recognize the value of inclusion. We recognize the importance of supports and services. We recognize that people with intellectual and developmental disabilities make the Commonwealth a better and more diverse place to live. On behalf of Governor Maura Healey, this proclaims March as Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. Thank you.
Thank you, Undersecretary Magoon, for joining us today. Now, we are so lucky to live in a state where our leaders value the rights and contributions of people with disabilities. Now, more than ever, we truly appreciate having you on our side.
Our next speaker is parent advocate Peter Wyman. Peter is the adoptive dad of 4 men with intellectual and developmental disabilities, aged 21 to 35, and he is the guardian of a young man living in a residential placement. Peter has worked in the human services field for 46 years, 35 of which have been at Seven Hills Foundation as a family support provider. Peter describes his life as unconventional and out of the box and enjoys traveling abroad with his family. Please give a warm welcome to Peter and the Wyman family. Okay.
Oh, no, I have a visual problem.
Okay. Wait.
See, I can't see. Well, in case you didn't know, I have a visual challenge right now. So I'm going to be reading like a 4th grader, and my daughter is going to take over the 2nd page. And I need to find it. On a lighter note, before we get into the meat and potatoes of things, I just wanted to announce that Jacob, can you raise your arm? Jacob is going to be representing Rick and Dick Hoyt this year in the Boston Marathon, and he's going to be wearing their bib, which is the equivalent of an Oscar award for a dad like me. So, CJ, over here. I'll get right into it. Obviously, you know that my name is Peter Wyman, and I'm here with my children, Jared, CJ, Jacob, and my soon-to-be 18-year-old daughter, Ava, as well as with my son's personal care provider, Jonathan, who I could not do this without. I wanted you all to meet Miguel and Markel as well, but this would be sensory overload for them, so I need to respect that. So they are not here, but their story and the story of families like mine needs to be heard. I stand before you today as the single father heading into my senior years. I'm already in my senior years. Raising children with complex medical and behavioral needs. My family is probably the most diverse family in this venue today. Each of my sons came into this world fighting for a better life, thanks to the sacrifices of their birth parents. Their stories are filled with unimaginable strength, sacrifice, and more. From a mother fleeing the Cambodian genocide, to a young pregnant woman traveling from Ethiopia, knowing that she was carrying a child with Down syndrome and could not provide for him, to a teenage mom who came here on a boat from Cuba, who didn't even know that Down syndrome could not be corrected. I honor these parents every single day by being the best father I can be. Unlike many, I chose my family's constellation. After 13 years working at the Dr. Franklin Perkins School, I knew the kind of children I was best suited for. They were the children that often others did not understand due to extreme behaviors that made folks shy away. But that was my forte, learning every facet of a personality, building rapport, and forming relationships. But those kind of relationships take years to develop. Yet in the human service world, where direct care staff turnover is constant, there is rarely enough consistency to build those deep bonds. When I started at Perkins School in 1979 at the age of 15, my first paycheck was $3.65 an hour, and I was proud of that. I worked 14-hour days, and I was paid $5 a night to sleep on the floor in case there was a fire. I was responsible for a unit of 10 children called the Junior Boys. I stayed with them until I turned 29 years old, at which point I adopted my first son, Jared, who's over there. And I lost my place. I'm sorry. To this day, I continue to provide family support to several local families very similar to my own, and I have done that for 30 years. Today, nearly 50 years later, direct care workers make just $19.50 an hour. When you do the math, that's an increase of 42 cents a year since the time I was 15 years old. We say we value our most vulnerable members of society, but our pay rates tell a different story. Families like mine rely on these workers to survive, and yet they can't even afford to stay in the field. Without a livable wage, we will continue to see a dangerous shortage of skilled caregivers. Today, I'm here to ask you, please take a serious look at why direct care workers are leaving the field and why so few are entering it. The reason's obvious. Many cannot sustain themselves on a current wage. These are the people who care for our most vulnerable citizens, yet they are paid so little that they are forced to work multiple jobs just to get by. We need to ensure that direct care workers receive a livable wage so that we can recruit, retain, and truly value the professionals who make independence and stability possible for individuals with complex needs like my sons. Without them, families like mine and countless others will face impossible situations. This is not just a workforce issue. It's a crisis for families like mine and individuals who rely on essential caregivers. So let's act now to fix it.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having us today. My name is Ava. I am Peter's oldest daughter, and I'm here to ask you, what kind of state do we want to be? Massachusetts has been a long leader in services for individuals with disabilities, but there are still too many cracks, too many unknowns. We need a livable wage for direct care staff so we don't lose the very people who keep this system afloat, more capacity at DDS to track and respond to the most complex cases, and emergency respite care and long-term housing solutions that provide stability for individuals with severe needs. There should be no more, we don't know what the budget holds in 2025. No more, there's no placement available. No more waiting for a crisis before action is taken. My dad started his journey in this field in 1979. As he approaches his later years of his life, he'd like to know he wraps up his life on a high note with no strings left untied. We have the ability to create that future. The question is, will we? Thank you.
job.
Nice job. Thank you, Peter and family, for those powerful words. We are grateful for all of your hard work and dedication to the disability community, your advocacy, and leading by example to empower individuals and families.
Yeah, skip that part.
So after this event is over, we encourage you to visit your legislators and their staff and to share your stories with them. You can also post a photo on social media with your legislator here at the State House. Please tag the ARC of Massachusetts and the MDDC so we can share it as well. Our social media handles are in the program as well. The more people who know about the great work your legislators do, the better.
Okay, our next and final speaker is Maura Sullivan, who will give the call to action. Maura Sullivan is the Chief Executive Officer of the ARC of Massachusetts. She took on this role in November after a decade of leading government affairs and Operation House Call. Maura has been a dynamic force within the ARC of Mass. Her advocacy is well known and respected so much here on Beacon Hill. She works with the stakeholders across the branches of government and has been instrumental in the passage of crucial legislation. Maura has helped drive significant increases in state budgets for the Department of Developmental Services, Mass Health, and the workforce, and we are eternally grateful. Maura's focus on health equity has led to a passage of legislation and growth of Operation House Call, a training program that equips medical and nursing students across Massachusetts with the skills and mindsets needed to care for individuals with IDD and autism. Maura amplifies the voices of those with profound and complex needs, and she strives to uplift and empower self-advocates, caregivers, and family members to share their stories and impact policy. So come on up, Maura.
Oh boy. Good morning, everyone. What a thrill to be here for my 10th year delivering the call to action, but to be here as CEO of the ARC of Massachusetts and to be here as the first parent of children with disabilities to lead the ARC in 70 years. Thank you so much for your support. Today's speakers have been extraordinary. Peter, you and your family embody strength and love and structure and freedom and humor and grace. Thank you so much for lighting up this room today. But now I must ask you to brace while I speak to the current, deeply concerning environment. These are challenging times for the ARC and our community. Federal cuts and executive orders will directly impact us in Massachusetts. We need our lawmakers to hear us and stand with us more than ever. Medicaid is a lifeline. Education, Social Security, the workforce, and DEI. These are support programs that are vital for people with autism and intellectual and developmental disabilities and their families. Advocacy is essential to safeguarding our rights to these fundamental services. So advocates, are you ready to step up? All right. The ARC is ready also. Thank you to our entire staff who are working incredibly hard, and many of whom are here today, and I want to specifically thank and recognize my government affairs team, Nora Bent, Jose Lopez, Charlie Fisk, and Kevin Chavez. I've also been really lucky to learn from an incredible leader, Leo Sarkisian, who is here today, And he really taught me that in tough times, you roll up your sleeves and you use every tool the ARC has available to support families. Thank you, Leo, for your mentorship. Where you are. In the face of crises like workforce shortages and devastating federal policies, we find strength in leaders like Representative Garbely and Senator Kennedy. How can they and all of you support us now? We must focus on the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, our services, budget, and legislation to uplift the workforce, restore access to services, and address the unmet needs of those with complex conditions. So let's turn now to our call to action. Number one, and this is for the advocates. Everyone must be an advocate. And I know you're tired of hearing me say that. But look around the room and feel this collective energy. This is our power. The ARC represents over 250,000 people in Massachusetts. We need them all. But we're also here to represent those who can't be here today, those whose voices are not always heard. So we need you to activate your passion for this community. Respond to and share every action alert. Even if you think you already did it, do it again. Build relationships with your lawmakers and their staff and share your stories. And then hold those elected officials accountable. Okay, number two, this is for the lawmakers. Thousands here in Massachusetts still remain without services. They're isolated, regressing, forcing caregivers to leave their jobs. Investing in human services must be a top priority through the budget and legislation. Along with our partner advocacy organizations, we ask for $100 million for Chapter 257, the Workforce Rate Reserve. This funding would maintain last year's momentum and raise the wages to $22.69 an hour. The people that are caring for our loved ones, that are caring for my children, deserve more than that. But especially in this tough budget year, these incremental increases are a crucial step. So, yeah. I'm going to take a short detour here to share some good news about the workforce. As you know, the ARC is all about legal change, but we're also about social change. We do this every day with our programs like Operation House Call, Pathways to Friendship, and we were so lucky to actually receive and be awarded a grant from the federal government from Senators Markey and Warren, and this grant will allow us to actually put $1.6 million into a workforce campaign that will be a culture change. We're so excited about this, and the campaign will basically emphasize the value of this work in this field. It's a powerful statewide marketing campaign, and it's called With All Your Heart. So keep an eye out for it because we need every effort. As you know, Turning 22 and Community Day programs are suffering because of this shortage of staff. We need your support for Turning 22 and Community Day programs. It's unacceptable that 2,500 adults are still waiting for services. The Turning 22 cliff is worse than ever. Caregivers, especially single parents, are struggling. People with profound autism and complex medical conditions are often left behind. With an additional $10 million, we can impact this wait list. If workforce shortages prevent funds from being used, we must enforce the transferability to family support or residential services. There are so many other critical areas where the ARC's actively engaged: self-direction, residential services, education support, and more. Everyone with autism and IDD has different needs, and it's our job to show up for them in all the spaces where they need support. Lastly, we need to pass our bills. Our legislative agenda this session focuses on a livable wage for the workforce, ensuring health equity, and promoting inclusivity and opportunity. Lawmakers, you've recently heard from over 1,500 constituents about this agenda. Co-sponsor these bills. Strengthening policy in Massachusetts will help us fight back against these federal cuts and threats. We need every Massachusetts lawmaker to stand with us, to engage with your leadership often and vigorously. Working together, I believe we can write a different story and prepare for this uncertain future. Now I have the honor of thanking some people who made today a success. A special shout out to the ARC and the MDDC teams, to our artists again, including our artist Carmela Salvucci, who made the beautiful State House artwork that graces the cover of our program, and to the wonderful Gateway artists that were up earlier too. And my deep gratitude to Lauren and Andre. You guys were extraordinary today. And to our wonderful co-sponsors as well. So we encourage you all to meet with your legislators, share your stories, find the MDDC and ARC staff. They're out there at the doors to help you find your way, and try to fill out our program survey online. And I just want to end by saying I am so honored and proud to be part of this community, especially right now. Let's carry each other through this. And thank you for being here. Now go advocate.